and I am doing a drive stream. I have had a very interesting weekend. So I did not get a chance to do another box saga because I was originally thinking of myself Saturday or Sunday, but after my Saturday show with Stein, I had a whole lot of stuff I wanted to do, and I was just too tired for it, and I had already set up to do another show that the Sunday afternoon at the same time. Like, because straight up, when I did the live stream with Stein, it left a big impression on, what is it, Disorderly Productions podcast or something, right? And so he threw me on the show and kind of gave me like an introductory interview. So I hung out for 2 hours there. I did a reading for him at the end of the show, just before we went through the gauntlet. He has like gauntlet questions that he does at the end, and that I'm trying to, some of them are asking me questions I don't think about ever. Like, like, what's your favorite food? I'm sitting there like, right? So that was pre-recorded, but then uploaded later that day. So it was a fast turnaround. The pre-record, it's up on the podcast on Spotify, which I really should post that. I'll make a community post here with the link to the Spotify, is what I really should do. I don't know if he's got a YouTube channel, but at any rate, it was pretty exciting. It was pretty interesting. I got a chance to really like stand and kind of like talk about, the basic stuff about where I come from, right? It's just like, because my story is pretty interesting, but it's like it's not a book. It's hardly professional. It's like most of the things that I've learned, I've largely self-taught or used online education for it, and whatnot. And so it's really like when you're getting interviewed about this stuff, you're talking how you did it yourself, right? To the point where, like, there's not too much that you can throw too much credit at for all manner of things, right? Like, I've been downplaying only because I don't like to leave wrong impressions, right? Because as of late, I don't do like too much shout outing and things like that in general, because it seemed to turn into this process of belittling myself in a weird way, right? Because I ultimately are going to be giving tremendous amount of credit to the Temple of the White Dragon, right? Because I keep my discipline in line with that mystery school, and that mystery school is based on universal proper knowledge and wisdom in the first place, which is why it has the effect that it does. Is that the mystery school really works at that, right? There's no doctrine that is like, there's no invented doctrine in the mystery school, right? Like, everything is either self-evidently discovered as a personal principle by which you conduct yourself, or it's something that's been over-verified as being a factual, like, way of things, right? This has been a work that took Sethicus a long time to be able to know what he knows, to be able to say and put it down. And I think often context is something, right? Because back when Sethicus was doing this stuff on YouTube, we were very fringe. We're still like a very suppressed like thing. A lot of you guys listening to me right now, you got like no idea, right? Because you're working with the networks that were looking for people to wake up before there was much of an awakening, right? External forces in the world brought you to finally seeking out something and seeking out each other, where people like me and the older generation that I was interested in doing it with at that time, we were, we were all, like, banging out all the metaphysical whatevers, that then became the subject matter, whether people are getting it right or getting it wrong or not, finally became the subject matter of conscious interest in at least the English-speaking world. Yeah, Disorganized Productions. Thank you. Yes. I can relate to the name. And the other manner of that downplay is that it's a very, the mystery school's not a cult. It's very hands off, right? It's very hands off. I rarely get bothered, and then like once in a while, when I go over and I have my talk, I get my ideas that maybe I've been sitting on for a hot minute. I'm sharing some aspect of it, with Seth, because I'm shooting him a link or whatever, to check in with how things pan out. And then only typically then does he ever like say anything because I asked, right? And we're all constantly making different kinds of shares with each other and everything else, and so there's an accountability that just kind of naturally happens, which is great. And so I over time can amend and refine my thinking as I get to figure it all out for myself, which is always left room for it. It's like it's about as opposite of a cult that you could fucking ask for, while still being about the things that a cult dresses itself with, right? Especially the power of the mystery, right? You don't get like manipulation here. It's just one of those matter of facts of just like the work gets put in, and a person is more advanced, and and that advancement naturally means that there's that they got the it factor, and that's going to happen no matter where you go. You'll start equating everything to a cult at that point if you just are really uncomfortable being part of something that has some sort of principles of some sort. Like, they don't have to be moral principles, but the point is that they have to be about something that you have to be about, or it is definitely against something or not about something that you better not be about. You get the idea there, right? So this is me speaking, making sure that I feel like I have represented as properly as I can. That stuff in there, right? Because often I am struggling very hard to say in my own words something that I get out of all of the deeper studies, which are all under those guidances of the principles that I'm held accountable to in this mystery school, right? Because I think a lot of people might be interested in looking at it and asking themselves if they want to accelerate their personal development, to get closer to truly knowing thyself, to make actual leaps and strides in freedom and ability. It is quite something what's all being held back within you, right? And everybody's got their own unique whatever that they're doing, right? And there's a whole lot of us that are out there talking, right? You want other guys, just like my friend Stephanie. She's a tarot reader. So, she's got her channel. What's Stephanie's channel's name? I just always think about her by her actual name. Waking Your Mind, Derek Botticelli. That's another member, as well as the Dissolving the Divide channel, which he does with Leslie Powers, who's another member. Madia West of Love, Truth, and Beauty. I mean, I can't even fucking tell you the caliber of my peers in this world. And honestly, I wish you guys would listen to all of them. When it comes to things, it's just I listen to a whole lot of different stuff, and it's fine that there's so many kind of more relaxed talk show kind of stuff, catharsis of the zeitgeist of the time, so on and so forth, and as well as speculative conversation, but we're talking about, a group of people that know their shit, that don't have to be Mr. Academic credentials, who can, who has, can shown something through that proper knowledge and wisdom, personal experience, Some people, came out of more traumatic problems in the system than others. Like me, I wasn't that traumatic. I had a longer personal issue that most people wouldn't end up going through anything, or having proper guidance there during dark nights of the soul, so that way your transformation doesn't make you uglier. Yeah, how about astrology? Blue Pearl Oracle. It's Rodney Goodwin. He's really fucking good, right? He don't make stuff on the regular, right? He makes stuff once every couple of fucking weeks or months, maybe, right? He doesn't just pump out an astrology fucking report on the weekly for you. He's much more about the big beats, and in some ways that's a lot better, because you can you know, like I can only listen to so many astrologers that are on the regular. Like I listen to Robert Phoenix on the regular. And a little bit of the Leo King. I think that's really it as far as astrologers that I listen to their update on a regular basis, much at all, right? Definitely Rodney, right? Because I know what Rodney's talking about, right? And Rodney's giving lessons that makes perfect sense to those who are true seekers, right? So, in short, I'm trying to talk about various brilliances for you to upgrade your game, right? I'm glad that you like me, but I don't want you to be following me because you like me. I'd rather you fucking hate me, but you listen because I'm fucking right. Because I think I'm doing something important, talking about something important. It's to stick one's neck out, whether I, believe it would be a good idea to monetize myself in the future because I think I can be this authentic as well as get like lazy revenue from people's interest. I don't know how I feel about that, right? I need to be eligible for monetization before my character can be tested, right? That means that the first 1,000 people that are into me for whatever reason are trusting that when I do such a thing, if I were to choose to do such a thing, that I forever honor that, right? It depends on how things go, right? I'm not interested in turning this channel into a company, right? It's not the Y Files. But half the time I listen to people complaining about what can or can't be done about things. And, meanwhile, I'm in a network that doesn't complain about shit. Because everybody knows how to kick their own ass. Right? Everybody knows how to avoid curse words, right? This is why I rail about the word bless, right? Don't bless me. I do not want to be blessed. Do not insult me with this belittling. I do not accept your gift if it means at the detriment of my character. No. I reject it. I reject your blessing. If you want to bestow something upon me, then I am grateful. But not if you bless me. And you should understand that. Get that breakdown. Etymology and the wordplay, psychological gaslighting, built right into the language where we accidentally do it to each other because this is how we're programmed to speak in this manner, right? We didn't speak like this when we were pagans. We're laced with Abrahamic freaking vernacular as a regular aspect of life, and that is forging the whole world around you and causing you to have sympathy with it and to be so in love with the good in that story that tells you in that story that the bad must come with it. And the bad being and then there's the bad in your mind, and then there's what place is there truly for evil. And it's still the game, right? I mean, the word God has been ruined, right? By the absolution of contextualizing that word for deity with specifically Jehovah. Ruins it. Ruins the word. It causes ultra baggage with it. Because unfortunately, there's still too much, until the human mind is proactively no longer sees that God is the name for prime creator, because there's a difference between prime creator and God, especially because prime creator is the all, which is just the collective source of basically the psychic field that we are an emanating unique fractal who has a place that fits into the whole, right? And unfortunately, some of us got into dark sorcery and took that whole universe and destroyed it. Or they're trying to destroy it, if you will. I was hoping that was going to stay, but it didn't stay. All right. Anyway, so it destroys it. Because now you have a false heaven and a false hell. And you can get lost in your cycle, right? Your soul can get put through the ringer in the other world, both in this life and the next life, if you're tapping into all the wrong grid works, right? And they're working very hard to cover up the fact that the manner in which Kabbalah tries to give you a holistic fucking magical system for the entire universe, all the realms, all the powers, that they have organized it in such a fashion to put a curse on you, to blight you, to rack you the fuck out. And you'll get your spirit encounter, you'll get your magical experience, but it will bear very little fruit that means anything to anybody, right? I mean, your life will be fine, I suppose, right? There's a whole lot of people that like, I don't know, it's just like, there are people that are fine that do magic, and there are people that seem to be not fine at all doing magic, and they, even if they've been doing it for a long time, right? And so everybody's got their own thing that they can do or whatever, but it also kind of means that magic is not really there to help you, because if you're not ultimately better at the end of the magical experience, then the help was never in what you were doing with the magic. The help was coming from elsewhere, or you just didn't need the help because you're all right, you got your shit together, right? But at the same time, it seems to not be capable of really freaking energetically shifting you if your whole mindset, your whole disposition is self-destructive, anti-life, anti-gods, so on and so forth. And what it actually means to be you know, an anti-god, right? Because once again, I've been having this conversation that we're confusing the natural conflict that occurs between sky gods and earth gods, like the Aesir or the Vanir, versus the unnatural conflict of these particular powerful beings that, you know, must cause things to go wrong, right? And there's something that transcends the personification of the gods as a reflection of our personal mistakes, right? Because these are forces to be taken seriously. And there's a reason why in various mythoses as such, humans don't have anything to do with it, right? It's just like, you look at Norse mythology, humans really don't have any fucking thing to do with it. If you look at Abrahamic mythology, humans have everything to do with it. Everything is happening here. It's just a larger than life history of how much humans suck through the example of the Hebrew nation. And that's kind of reading the Old Testament, right? In the Norse mythos, with the exception of a handful of footnotes in a story about the fate of mankind, either in its creation and or its preservation in the Ragnarok as such, there's nothing, right? There's no like, and then humans gave Loki the ultimate weapon and Loki destroyed the world. It's just like, no, humans got nothing to do with anything, right? So the way I look at the Norse mythos is that it's telling us that in reality, the gods, there's the gods and the anti-gods. The anti-gods are anti-you. They're anti-you. That's why you don't worship Loki. You're worshiping something that is, in its inherentness, is against you. And it doesn't matter how impressive you can be towards Loki because you can't be tricked. Oh, you figured me out, kiddo. Right? Like, you know, like I've gotten that experience from Loki, where Loki's just telling me, good job, because I thwarted a trick he was playing on me. Right? And I didn't sit there with the warmth in my heart of, oh, wow, Loki's proud of me. No. That's just my enemy fucking doing what enemies do. For whatever fucking reason, because it's always better for your enemy to try and get any inch of sympathy, because it changes the way you fight them. And it makes you less interested in a killing blow. Because it's just like, well, I want to kill Loki because he's evil, but he did say I had a great beard, and so maybe maybe I'll stab him once, and then I'll stab him for reals if he persists, because maybe deep down inside. No, see, that's Loki's tricks, and that's how the fucking enemy wins. You got to be fucking ruthless, you know. Once you're in that fucking zone, you're in that fucking zone, and maybe there's some fucking condition that changes all of that, but that doesn't count when it's Loki himself, right? As opposed to other circumstances. And there's a depth of understanding on many levels that comes with that. And that's kind of part and parcel of why I try and make the point for this system the way and as well as I do. All right, so I've arrived at work. It's been a great conversation. Let me check messages here real fast before I go. Plus you. Ha! That's cute. That's cute. But that also sounds that don't sound right either, right? It can't really, it can't sound like it. That's the whole thing, because bless, like the whole point is that you don't want all that. You don't want to have all that, right? It's just like, don't tell me to be in bliss. If I am not interested in being in bliss, then I don't want to fucking be blissed. All right? Right? You have to ask some, hey, would you like to be experiencing bliss right now? Right? Somebody should ask me that before they bless me. Right? Right? It's unsolicited, you know? It's just like, I don't have to be polite and accept it as such, right? And these are the big differences between me and a lot of other people. All right, you guys have a good one.